Right. Okay. First of all, welcome to our first webinar of this short webinar series. The target, the aim, the focus of this small coaching webinar series is to have a continuous training on the functionality, the existing functionality of the dashboard, but also the new ones that are coming up. We feel that staying close to our partners it's quite important. So we adopt a proactive approach rather than a reactive. No, we do support, of course, for your data integration, for your analytics, for your installation, and so on. With our customer success team, myself, Anthony, Lorenzo. Now we have another guy that is that we are training him, and kind of there will be one or two of that will join the customer success team. We'll try to really stay behind you in a more proactive manner, which means that we don't wait for an issue to happen or that you don't understand a particular functionality. So, but we actually try to be predictive and kind of push forward and be proactive in making sure that you are getting the value from the platform effectively. Okay. Amy has also shared the other webinars, but in case you can go on our new website. I hope you like it, by the way. The kind of the website we launched only probably a month ago at this stage. I think it's pretty good, but it's much better than the other. But there is lots of information that we are importing, but we still have the knowledge base here. The media get started platform and so on. So the webinars is in media webinars. And there are the small group coaching, the sessions when those will happen, and you can register and you can also view the webinar. So the next one, for example, would be a webinar about the breakdown tab, demonstrate the vision of consumption by predetermined KPIs, analysis over raw data tab. Okay, and it will be kind of very sharp, and we close off in half an hour. Okay. Right. Let's start. First, this is the unbranded version of your platform with the Wattics logo. Many of you, the majority, I would say, have a white label platform with your color, logo, look and feel, and everything. So maybe something will look a bit different than your platform, but I think the main analytics are the same. The colors will look different, I suppose. Notifications and alert and widgets are in the homepage, okay? And at the moment, you can access them directly from here by clicking on notification setting and add widgets. And as you probably remember, now if you create a new user, there are no widgets that are shown, okay? Kind of as you click in here, you can add different type of widgets for the sites that you're monitoring. Okay. Currently, we have 5 type of widgets that you can create. Now, this is quite important that, especially when you create a new user for one of your customers, it's quite important that when the customers log in for the first time, that he knows that he has perhaps some widgets already set up, or that you set up the widgets for him, or that you train him how to set up new widgets, because at the beginning, the impact is that the platform, the dashboard is quite bare because there are no widgets, there are no notifications. This page is blank effectively. But if you create some insight, then they start and they already seen some insight here. But anyway, this is normally created by adding a new widgets. You select a particular site, and you can have a counter which calculates the cost or the values today so far for this particular area or this particular meter, and the title of the widgets, you can put it here at the bottom. So the monthly values to date, or you can click and change it to monthly kilowatt hour to date. value or cost in your local currency, and then you create, and that widgets will appear here, in this case in dollars, but it depends on where the country where the site is located. Okay. And as you know, this is a kind of a carousel, so you can switch the carousel. Let me just turn this off. And the second part, the bottom here, are the notifications. Okay, as you start again a new user, this notification, there's nothing here, it's completely white, blank. You can click here and you can start creating your notifications. Okay, there are currently 4 types of notification: unexpected value detection, PUE, that's the power usage effectiveness, which is a performance measurements of a data center that I'll come back in a second, customized detection, and offline notification. Okay, the unexpected value detections is effectively our Sentinel notifications, Sentinel alerts that are based on a machine learning tool that observe the usual patterns of consumption for a particular meter, for a particular monitored point, and over the course of the last 4 weeks, or 1 month actually, yeah, it will observe the weekdays and the weekends, and if there is, and after 4 weeks, it has an idea of when a particular meter starts and how much is consuming at a certain time. So it develops a band of expected values, expected consumption. Why is this important? Because if suddenly the values goes below or above a certain threshold, it will notify that particular users that there is an abnormal energy usage in a particular meter. This can be nothing, okay, or it can be something to look at. Okay, especially when there are multiple sites or multiple areas and meters monitored, then sometimes it's handy to have a system that continuously track and monitor the consumption pattern. So in here, I always show, and this could be also something interesting for you to show to your customers, the sand filter pumps. I don't know, kind of when you do your training for your customer, showing the value and how certain functionalities are used, it's nice to have a particular meter that you can actually show that makes sense, because sometimes the notifications are sent but there is no clear patterns. So try always to make up a story of how this tool would be used when the meter installation happens. So the sand filter pump in this case is one notification. So if I click here and I click on expected value, I can see that my sand filter pumps is one of the unexpected value detection that I've set up. We can delete those by clicking on this and delete the one that we are not happy with, and you can actually choose. We can actually choose to be notified on the dashboard by default, by email and by SMS. And if you want to receive SMS, please talk to us, because we need to add some credits on your account for the SMS. Okay. Now, once we have this set up, and we go back to the home page, then you get this list. And if you click on this sand filter pump, which has consumed 71% more than usual, it gives you for how long and between the what time, and so the when, how long, where, cost. And if you click on that, it will appear this. So this will also appear on a mobile phone. You have a little bit to zoom in on a mobile phone but it's visible. Consumption was abnormally high and then went back to normal. And here you can click on and take an analyze on the dashboard, which will bring you to the Sentinel trends. So this is what I was saying before. The green is what the system the machine learning has identified as normal behavior, or so by looking at the last month of data. Now, one question that can come from the customer is, so is this looking at kind of which month, kind of how does it work if my site changes, or how does it work if, so does it look like a February or March? So does it learn a month, and then what happens if my pattern changes, and so on and so forth? These questions are usually common. Okay, the answer is that it's a sliding window, so it always take the last month of energy consumption. Why we do that? Because the last month of consumption is the closest to today, so therefore there's a better chance that the weather conditions or the timer setting, or it's more relevant basically. But if we look at perhaps the consumption, if we learn the consumption based on 2 months ago, or based on last or 6 months ago, chances are that there was a different season, the timer setting were different, and so on and so forth. So we, of course, it's a design choice. Even the length of the learning period is a design choice, but we tested with a couple of weeks learning period, or 2 months learning period, and the 1 month seems to be quite an optimal choice, because the notification were not so many, but still the trends was accurate enough. So we decided to stick with the 1 month sliding period. I mean, there may be in the future that we will actually put a control panel here on the right hand side, where where more personalization can be set, but this is we don't have anything in a short-term technology roadmap to set up a control panel. There are a few other things that are quite interesting that you will see them happening in the next few months. Okay, but in this case, just to come back with this, the sand filter pump normally has a low consumption up to 3 a.m. And then it drop even further to a very low consumption, and then it goes up at 6 normally, and that's the kind of normal patterns that the system has learned. The notification was sent because something was left on, perhaps, or maybe it was something that it had to be left on, but the system didn't know and just has highlighted as an abnormal energy consumption pattern. It's quite handy if you want to point out some deviation without you looking at each individual point. Okay. Any question about this, guys?
No, that's fine.
Good.
No.
Yeah. Now, so if we go back then to the homepage, the other type of notifications is the PUI. Okay, so if I go, this is only for data center, but you may encounter a data center as a customer, and this is actually quite relevant to them. So I go for a second to Wikipedia, and I just type PUI, because it gives me the actual formula. So the PUE, power usage effectiveness, is the ratio that describes how efficiently a data center uses energy, and it's the ratio between total facility of the data center divided by the IT, the servers, effectively. So there are two elements in a data center, two categories of consumption. One is the servers and the IT, and the second one is everything else, which is lighting, which is cooling, okay, which is the one of the biggest consumption in the data center. I think there has been some research that demonstrated that the whole consumption, the whole consumption of a data center, 50% is actually cooling, and that's why kind of there's been loads of companies such as Facebook that has made any glue and has actually made a data center under the snow just to reduce that cooling to zero and have the perfect PUE. Because if you imagine if the cooling is equal to zero, then the total facility is basically the server, so the ratio will be 1. Okay. apart from lighting, okay, which is anyway minimal. So how do we capture this PUE? If you click on, if you click on here, PUE threshold detection, you can add a new detection. You select the data center, and you can you have a couple of thresholds here. The first one, threshold number 1 and threshold number 2. And I will explain in a second what that means. But I can, for example, kind of create an alert by email or by SMS if my threshold goes above threshold number 1. So where are these thresholds located? They are located in this new tab called PUE. Okay, the power usage effectiveness is something that it has to be implemented ad hoc. Okay, so if we go and look at the points that are within this data center, you see we have many points. We have fans, we have heroes, pumps, super chiller 1, super chiller 2, and then we have another distribution board with the servers, the main servers, and so on. So you need to come up with us and says, okay, can you please calculate my data center by summing up the main server, this, and this, and divided by this, and this. So you basically give us the formula that kind of to sum up all the meter and divide, etc. So, and once the formula is returned to us, then we go on our internal interface. Unfortunately, this interface is not yet available for you to create that formula. But once we get the formula and what the calculation that you want among the different meters, then we can go here and set your PUE, okay, based on the formula you gave us. So this is just a simple gauge that shows in real time where your PUE is at the moment for that particular data center, and here you can set your threshold, the threshold number 1 and the threshold number 2, which was the one that are in the notification. You can set allowances, and if you increase certain allowances, decrease certain allowances, and you update, this will become of different colors. For example, let me see here. Well, I probably have to decrease my my threshold if I want to see the different colors. So if I update here, yeah, now if since I put the threshold so low, okay, then my allowance was also very low. This daily PUE and weekly PUE became red because the threshold has been surpassed. Okay, and if you click on daily PUE, then we can see this the PUE, the two threshold that I've set, and the historical data center and how that has changed over time. Okay, and you have daily view, you have weekly view with some spikes, monthly view, and so on. We are actually thinking whether it makes sense to kind of have perhaps in the future this type of PUE data center, or the quarterlies here, this type of PUE data center with the ratios and the functions to be available or have ability to create this composite meters that will allow us to do division and so on, for not only for data center but for any particular performance metric you'd like to track. Okay, so that's the PUE. The other type of notification that you have at the moment is the customized detection and the offline notification. Offline notification are very simple but quite effective. So you can just call it offline description, offline meters, for example. In here, you can actually specify the email list that you would like to receive this offline meters, and you can actually create an alert for if any meter in the data center organization or in the food corporation, in the organic farm. So that means that every meters that is offline for more than 5 minutes, we will get notified by email. Okay, and you can allow, for example, if the meter is offline for more than 24 hours, and then you get a notification. And you get a notification for all the meters, or you can open up your tree menu, your menu tree, and select a particular meter if you don't want to be notified for all of them, but just one. Okay, quite important, because sometimes, you know, the customer sees a gap of data and complains, and it's not nice. We have to go back or try to average some data and so on and so forth. So when the meter goes offline, for example, because the internet dropped for several days or something happened, it's quite important to get notified without you checking all the time. And the final one is the customized detection. The customized detection at the moment is only a detection on kilowatt, okay? And we thought that this was quite a limitation. So there was a notification only on the active power. So you would select a meter, okay, production line, and be notified if the kilowatt hour is above, for example, 20 kilowatt for more than 30 minutes at any time of the day, or maybe between midnight and 3 a.m. And you could pick and choose the days of the week that you would like the system to run and notify you. And again, you can choose whether you would like to be notified by email or by SMS. And there's a description here. This is how the customized detection works, okay, above or below a certain threshold. But we said, okay, let's expand this, because we have heating degree days, we have different type of meters, we have cost in currency, we have kilowatts. So this is really not sufficient to allow only to be notified for the kilowatt and not for the other parameters that we collect or we process. So we then in the background, we worked on a new version of the notification settings that we are going to release. It's just in the staging machines, because we are testing, and will be released in a beta version. Tiago, I would say this week or next week. Next week, okay. And I have here the staging machine that shows how the notification will change. The first thing, these notification settings here will be moved to the main tab, because it becomes a proper tool. So there won't be any more here, but it will be probably beside the home page or somewhere here. We are thinking of a bell, just to have a symbol of an alert. And then, but if you click, then the unexpected value detection, we have renamed them as Sentinel alerts, because it's more in line to our Sentinel trends. PU stays PUE threshold. Custom alerts now is different. So if you click on alert, you'll be able to, for example, click on a particular site, select a meter, and select the alert type. We have not only a threshold, but we only have the cumulated so far against the threshold. And the value, the cumulated, is basically a target. Okay, so for example, I can put target 1,000 euro reached this month. Okay. Which means that they've reached 1,000 euro of cost in energy this month. At this point, I would select here not only the kilowatt hour, but I have also cost, okay? And I will select, in this case, it's per month, so I will select per month, but I can actually select the target per week, or I can select the target per day or per year. And the condition, it's great, because there's no condition, you just get a target when it's accumulated. And I put threshold here 1,000, which is the name that I put here. So if I click emails and I create, I'm gonna set up this new alert, and the system will start counting how much I'm paying for this particular meter, and will push a notification by email that I've reached this month a threshold of 1,000. Okay, and then it will the alert will restart next month. So effectively, you'll get one alert per month if you reach that particular target. What do you think about these?
This is very good. I think so.
And I think, I mean, here the target, the objective was to keep the customer engaged, okay, and having a target weekly or daily of energy cost in actual euro or dollars or currency, any currency that you have in your country, is quite attractive, because it's just, oh God, I have the 200 euro usually I spend per day for this particular HVAC, and now I'm going to spend 300. What's wrong with that? So it's actually a fine granularity tracking of spending for the different metered points. Okay, the rest, values again threshold. You still have the values against threshold, so you can still put the target 1000 threshold, which can be also currency. But now you have all the parameters. You have kilowatt, you have kVAR, you have kV apparent power, you have current, you have voltage, and so on. So when you select the meter, because if it's a multi-value meter that we gather all of this information, you can actually put a notification in all of these parameters now, okay? And if you select the water, then you only have, it's a single value, so it's basically just a value, so you don't have anything to select here because it's just one value that you're monitoring. And when alert is enabled, it can be any time of the day, or again between. This is similar to what we had in the original alert, and you can choose all week long or for the days. So I think that is so basically, to recap, this new alerting system has accumulated so far against threshold. It allows to set kilowatt hour or cost for the accumulated, and if it's against threshold, it will allow to set up any parameters that you are collecting from that particular data points, and the condition is that is greater or lower, and this would be the same as before. They're much more flexible, and I think now it's complete, because if I have a temperature, if I have water, if I have gas, or if I have any numeric values, because this platform is basically is evolving from an energy platform to an energy performance and an IoT platform, because at the moment we can import any value, any numeric values. I think it's important that also the alerting system evolves as a result. Okay. In the future, like this is the beta version, in the future we may even think to perhaps when the email is sent, to provide some extra information, or but for the moment I think this is a good improvement on the previous alerting system that we had. Okay, 3 minutes to go. I'll open to some questions if you guys have. I want to stay on time, because you probably have dedicated only half an hour for this, and it's good to respect the time. So any questions, guys, on what you think that we could do a little bit better on this alerting, or this notification? Any question, open to any bad or positive or negative feedback. Not a problem, guys. I mean, we are here to learn and to improve our platform.
Yeah, Anthony, this is Alok.
Yeah.
Yeah, so can we have some basic notification as a default value? Like, I mean, for my case, I didn't get 2 days reading, but I was not aware because I was busy in some other work and I didn't get the notification, and I was not aware about this creating manual notification. So if there would be something default value, like like for the if meter is offline, this
Yeah.
is some default. If this setting will be default in the dashboard, then it is as per my opinion. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
Right. So, look, your question is basically if actually the dashboard, the platform would come with already notification set, so that you actually don't have to go and set notification for each users, but as a default, a user will have a notification for offline meters. already set, and that would save some times perhaps in you going through them. That's a good point. We could, there is always the question to understand what's actually standard and what's not standard, because we don't, we don't want also to kind of the system starts suddenly notifying for something that people are not willing to receive. But it's a good point. Perhaps we could identify something that is common among the different users and partners, and then having some default alerts that gets already that are already implemented for each users that we create. Something to think about, yeah.
Thank you.
Uh, mm. Okay, guys, that's so time is up. So if kind of if you have some other question, let me actually see if there's somebody that was muted here that had some question. No, that's fine. So that's perfect. So at this stage, if nobody has questions, and it's already kind of 3:30, so I would close this short webinar, yeah, and I hope to see you again for the next one, yeah. Have a look at the webinar, and you can register so you can get the link. And the next one we will be talking about the breakdown tab and demonstrate how the normalization and the division between consumption and predetermined KPIs to create those energy performance metrics that are quite important nowadays. And then the analysis of the raw data tab with all the different values, and how to use that to also increase the values for your customers. Okay. Thanks, and have a great day, guys. For any other questions, we're available by emails, through your intercom, and so on. Okay. Take care, and have a lovely day.
Thank you.
Okay.
Same. Yeah.
Bye. 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 Bye.